Welcome back to another Mustang Monday. We are heading into week 9 of the quarter here at Cal Poly, so a lot of our students are super busy, but thankfully we have a student representative coming to join us today to discuss the Disability Resource Center at Cal Poly, so I will accept them into the live now. Just give them 1 second to join.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good, how are you?
I'm doing well. Can you see me and everything okay?
Yes, can see you perfectly.
Okay, cool. Well, I will start off by going ahead and introducing myself. Hi, everyone. My name is Shraddha Samantala. My pronouns are she, her, hers. I'm currently a junior at Cal Poly. My major is business administration, and I have a minor in event planning and experience management. And I currently work as a student assistant at the Disability Resource Center. So yeah, I'm excited to be here with all of you to give you some info on what exactly the DRC is.
Awesome. Yeah, I'll introduce myself too so you know who I am. My name is Olivia Jones, pronouns she, her, hers, and I am a 4th year communication studies major with a minor in science and risk communications. And this is actually going to be my very last Instagram live tonight before I graduate in a couple of weeks. So I really enjoy doing these lives and, sharing all these campus resources with you all, but don't worry, we'll be having someone else take over my position, and so they'll be sharing all of these different resources with you. And yeah, I'm Polyrep University Ambassador, so we are the tour guides, ambassadors for campus, and then I also work in the admissions office at the Welcome Center. So I go live with admissions every week and partner with a campus organization or resource. So I'm looking forward to talking about the Disability Resource Center with you. Yep. Also, I'm putting in a comment right now. If anyone has questions, please use the question function throughout so that we can answer any questions anyone has. But do you want to introduce what the Disability Resource Center is, what they kind of do for campus?
Yeah, definitely. So the goal of the Disability Resource Center is to essentially cultivate an accessible and inclusive community where students with temporary or permanent disabilities have an equal opportunity to participate in all aspects of campus life. So whether it's academics, housing, your meal plan, or even just getting around campus, we offer a variety of accommodations to help level the playing field for all of our students.
Yeah, that's awesome. And just so everyone knows, the Disability Resource Center is often referred to as the DRC, so we might be referring to that as the DRC throughout this live, just in case anyone gets confused. So what kind of abilities or disabilities does the DRC accommodate for?
Yeah, so we actually have a range of disabilities that we accommodate for. There's so many, but just to give you folks a little bit of an overview, there's psychological disabilities, so that can be like anxiety or depression, ADD or ADHD, visual disabilities, so if you have any sort of visual impairment or blindness too, that's one of it. Mobility, so let's say you break your ankle, or if you're in a wheelchair or something like that and you have trouble getting around campus, we have a tram service that can take you from your classes or the dorms or any on-campus location. We also have medical, learning, and hearing disability accommodations. So like I said, that's definitely not like all encompassing of every single disability that we serve, but that's just a brief overview. So if any of you have questions on specific ones, we could definitely delve into that a little bit more.
Yeah, honestly, it surprises me how much the DRC covers. So I actually got disability resource accommodations end of last quarter, kind of beginning of this year, and I really that I had done it sooner because it has made my life a lot easier, and I didn't think that what I was dealing with would even count for the DRC, but going through the process and talking with people there made me realize that whatever I was experiencing was valid and it was hindering my learning situation, and so it was worth it for me to go through the DRC approval. And I've been able to have more time on tests. I've been able to have just that support of the sort of officialness of being able to, email my teachers and say that I was struggling and then know that it was something legitimate. So I highly recommend that if you are even considering it, that you might need some sort of additional support when you come to Cal Poly, then I highly recommend speaking with someone at the DRC.
Yeah, and even if you're not sure if you have a disability or if you'd qualify, before submitting the application, we can definitely set you up with an informational appointment with one of our access specialists. So this is just going to be a 30-minute appointment where you can talk to an access specialist and get a general overview of the DRC, our accommodations, the process for getting approved, and that whole spiel. So this is a great option for any incoming students who aren't really sure if they want to pursue DRC accommodations, or if you just have some questions about what kind of accommodations you think you'd be eligible for. You can always schedule one of those informational appointments before going through the formal process of submitting an application.
Yeah. And how do you get DRC approval specifically?
Yeah, so it's actually a pretty simple process. If you go onto our website, drc.calpoly.edu, in the front and center, you'll see a green circle that says online student application. If you click on that, it'll take you to our online DRC portal where you can fill out an application for services. So this is just going to ask you a few questions about the DRC. It'll ask you some questions about what accommodations you think would serve you best and a little bit of your history with the disability. Following this, they will ask you to submit medical documentation. So this is just going to be paperwork from any licensed medical professional proving that you do have the disability. So that can be like a doctor, a psychologist, a therapist. I know even campus health can issue paperwork sometimes. So yeah, that's just to give our access specialists a better overview of the disability and to help them better understand how we can serve you. Once an access specialist reviews this paperwork and your application, they will go ahead and send you an email and invite you to schedule an intake appointment. Once you receive this email, you can go ahead and give our front desk a call and we will get you in for an appointment with our access specialist. The intake appointment is a really low pressure situation. It's not like an interview or anything, but you essentially just talk to the access specialist and give them an overview of your disability, and they try to gauge how we can best serve you here at the DRC. So as long as you have that paperwork ready to go, the whole process shouldn't take too long. If you do struggle with the paperwork, we can definitely still set you up with an access specialist for an informational and see how we can make that process smoother.
Yeah, definitely. The process was pretty smooth for me. Like you said, I went on the website and filled out the application, and I emailed my doctor beforehand about sending the documentation over, and then I attached it on there. And yeah, I had a super chill, casual conversation with someone at the DRC, and they helped me get connected with an access specialist, and now I'm able to use my DRC accommodation. So it's been really great.
Awesome. Good for you.
Yeah, thank you. Speaking of accommodations, what kind of accommodations does the DRC specifically offer, depending on your different disability?
Yeah, so like I said before, just because we serve so many different disabilities, there's also a super wide range of accommodations that you could potentially be eligible for. So I'll just list a few of them off for you folks, but it's definitely on a case-by-case basis depending on your personal disability and how exactly you feel like you could be best accommodated. So one of the accommodations we offer are test-taking accommodations. So some students struggle with taking exams under the normal time constraints. So these students would be eligible to come into our testing center and test with us, where they can get maybe double the amount of time or one and a half times the regular amount of time that the rest of the class would get. Additionally, with testing, we can also do like Scribe Accommodations, where if you struggle with if you broke your hand and you struggle with writing down your answers, we can have you verbally say the answers, and we'll have a DRC employee fill out the Scantron or whatever it is for you. So yeah, there's a really wide range of testing accommodations. We have an entire section in our building just for testing, and it's a whole separate department too. So once again, if you folks have specific questions about testing, please do drop them in the chat and we can get into it. One of our other accommodations are tram rides. So like I said before, if you struggle with walking to class, we can always get you set up with our tram service. They're also another department in our building. And they're basically golf carts, and you fill out your schedule, give them some information on where you need to be and when you need to be there, and they'll come pick you up from different tram stops and get you back and forth between classes. Another one is note taking. So this is if you struggle with taking notes in class or you feel like you can't keep up in class. We have student note takers who volunteer to essentially take notes for you and then send it to your DRC portal. This is anonymous on both sides, so the note taker won't know that you're the DRC student and you won't know who the note taker is. But yeah, it's a really great resource if you struggle with kind of like keeping up in class or even just taking notes in general. We also do excused absences and tardies for certain cases. So if you have a lot of doctor's appointments you need to attend, or if you need to go home more often than the average person, we can communicate with your professors and let them know that you'll be absent on certain days because of the disability, or you may be late to class for certain days. What else? Oh, we do housing. So if you need a specific room type, like some students may require a single, or maybe they need specific medication that needs to be refrigerated, they can get a fridge in their room. Or even if it's just a specific room assignment, we can accommodate based on your disability with the housing department. So yeah, like I said, there's a super wide range of it's really cool because it's definitely catered towards your individual disability and what you and your access specialist decide that you need. So like, I'm gonna keep saying this, if you folks have specific questions, please do drop them in the chat, because I'm definitely not covering every single thing that we offer.
Yeah, definitely. There are so many. I mean, I always see the golf cart driving around campus, taking people to class, which is always fun. And the testing services are great. I have had extended time on tests. I've had the excused absences that you've talked about when I've had doctor's appointments. Yeah, I mean, note taking, there's pretty much always an email. I have a class saying like someone in your class needs a note taker. And so I think it's just great. Even if you're a part of other organizations you need volunteer hours for, those actually count as volunteer hours. So I think it's cool that you can help people even if you're not part of the DRC community.
Yeah, we actually award 40 hours of service if you take notes for a class, and it's super easy because all you have to do is upload the notes that you already take for the class to the student portal. So it's essentially getting volunteer credit for the work that you're already doing. And it's also a great resume experience. You can put it down when you're talking to employers that, you know, you helped out the DRC, and we'll definitely vouch for you on that end if you need any help. So it definitely is an opportunity. If you folks ever see the email saying, we need note takers, I highly recommend you sign up.
Yeah, definitely. And what would you say is sort of the most common thing that people reach out to the DRC about? Is it more like temporary things or mental health kind of aspects of things? Like, what would you say is the most common things that we can kind of point that out to people?
Yeah, so I would say a lot of students call in and ask about the testing services that we offer, just because it's such a wide department that serves so many different disabilities, you know, like whether it's a learning disability or test anxiety, or even like a physical disability, if you hurt your hand or something. The testing department serves a wide variety of students. So I would definitely say that that's one of our most used services. And also, like I said, you know, every single class takes exams. So almost every single student who does have some sort of a disability who needs assistance with their classes may qualify for the testing services.
That's awesome. Yeah. And how did you get involved with working at the DRC? You know, is there a way that people can get involved on that side of things if they want to?
Yeah, we are actually always looking for new hires. So if you folks are interested, keep your eye out on Handshake, because when we are actively hiring, we'll post a Handshake job opportunity. Otherwise, you can always email us your resume and we'll keep it on hand for when we're actively hiring. And if your resume fits the DRC description, we'll definitely reach out to you and schedule an interview. Personally, my freshman year, I saw the DRC Handshake opportunity and I applied. I just wanted a freshman job, and I was like, oh, it's on campus, the hours are good. So I decided to apply on a whim, and I ended up working there, and I absolutely love it now. So I would highly recommend you folks apply if you're looking for a job.
Yeah, definitely. It's a great opportunity. And what about class registration process? I know that some, you know, one major accommodation you can get is priority or sort of what is the word, like just different registration? How does that work?
Yeah, so priority registration is one of the DRC accommodations. The process for receiving it is going to be the same as any other any other accommodation. You just have to go on our website, submit that application that I had before, and then during the intake, when our access specialist gets more information on your disability, we'll see if there are specific scheduling needs that need to be taken into account in your accommodation profile. So that can be like if you have doctor's appointments at a certain time, and you can't be registering at like random times. If you have to be at doctor's appointments or you have to take medication at a certain time, or if you have general challenges with attending class at specific times, like sometimes insomnia or depression can play a role in that. Then you would definitely be eligible for priority registration. Once again, that's on a case-by-case basis, and it's going to be discussed between you and your access specialist. But if that's something that you think would benefit you, just due to the nature of your disability, you can definitely bring it up with your access specialist in your intake appointment, and they will discuss it more with you and take it into consideration.
Yeah, that's awesome. So we have a couple questions. Question is, how do the job volunteer hours work?
Oh yeah, I can go over that. So essentially, when we send out the email, or if a note taker comes to your class to recruit, if a student employee comes to your class to recruit a note taker, you just have to reply and say like, hey, I'm interested. We'll get you down in our system as a volunteer note taker. And then at the end of the quarter, we send out volunteer verification letters to everyone. So that's essentially just going to be an official DRC letter saying like, let's say I'm the note taker. It would be Trita Samantala volunteered 40 hours at the Disability Resource Center doing XYZ. So if you need to submit this, I know some departments require volunteer work hours. So if you need to submit this to that, you could just email your department, or if you need it for like a second job or an internship or something, you can go ahead and just send them that letter. And you can always refer them back to our email if they have any further questions about it.
Perfect. That's great. Thank you. And are textbooks offered as e-text, and where are they read out loud to you?
Yeah, so we do have alternative media options. That's going to be with our alt media department. So it's like we have testing and tram, it's another department within the DRC. The disabilities that qualify for this range, but some of them can be like visual disabilities if you have trouble reading your textbook, ADHD, or like if you have impaired hand dexterity, so you can't really like operate the textbook super easily, you'd be eligible for that. So the process for that is you have to go on the DRC website through your portal and submit a request for an alternative media e-text. I would highly recommend submitting those requests as soon as possible, just because it can take up to 3 weeks for the alt media requests to go through, just because our team manually makes all the e-texts and everything. So yeah, if you have more questions about that, I can also drop the alternative media email in the chat. I will go ahead and pull that up right now, and I'll send it over to you.
Perfect. Yeah, kind of along those lines, I would say that you'll want to look into DRC approval either at the end of a quarter, looking to get approval for the next quarter, or at the beginning of the quarter, so that you can get an accommodation in times of like before midterms or finals. So you're going to want to kind of stay on top of things, just so that you feel comfortable going into your classes, especially if you're a prospective student. Sarita, I don't know how much you know about this, but I'm sure that you'll be probably speaking at slow days or during WOW, or kind of offering any resources during that time for incoming prospective or incoming students.
Yeah, so for incoming students, actually, if you are aware that you will want DRC accommodations, even if you're not officially, like if you don't have your Cal Poly portal and everything, you can still apply for accommodations through our website. And we actually have a lot of seniors in high school right now who are going to have intake appointments within the next few weeks, just because they've already decided that this is something that they'd want for their like college learning experience. So I need to get back to you on whether or not we'll have booths up at WOW and Slow Days. But if you are a senior in high school and you are looking for accommodations, I highly recommend you go and apply as soon as you can, because it's going to make your life a lot easier when school starts, just because I'd say the first 2 weeks of school are probably our most impacted times when it comes to appointments. So a lot of times it can be really hard to get an appointment like within the same week or within the same 2 weeks, just because we have so many students who are going to be submitting requests and everything. So yeah, definitely get on that as soon as you can. Submit your documentation, and also that way you can kind of adjust your accommodations to what you think you'll need, just because you'll have more time to coordinate with your access specialist before you get here.
Right. Great point. And then even if you're an incoming transfer student or a current student, I think the same advice goes as well. Great. Is there anything that we haven't discussed today that you kind of wanted to mention or advise to people, or any more information about the Disability Resource Center?
Yeah, so our website, drc.calpoly.edu, has so much information on it about everything I just went over. Whether you have questions about like what accommodations we offer, what disabilities we serve, what kind of paperwork you need for your student application, our website has all of the info on that. So please do use that as a resource. If you have additional questions on top of that, you can always email us at drc@calpoly.edu. Our front desk phone is also open from 8 a.m. to 4:30 Monday through Friday, and who knows, maybe I'll be the one picking up. So please feel free to give us a call or an email if you have any questions on any of the topics that I just mentioned.
Yeah, and I'm sure they should follow your Instagram too for any updates or questions they have.
Yeah, definitely. We post, we do like disability tapas every Thursday. It's just an event where some of our professional staff talk about different disability related topics. We did a movie the other day. We do a lot of events to kind of bring the DRC community together, and all of those are going to be publicized through the Instagram account that I'm on right now. So feel free to follow and keep up with those events.
Great. Yeah. Thank you so much for all that information. I think it's super important to use those resources. Well, if there's nothing else, I want to say thank you so much for joining us this evening. You've given some great information, and I definitely have had such a great experience with the DRC, and like I said, wish I had done it earlier. So I recommend anyone that's interested looking into it, because it's a really great resource on campus. This video will be posted on our YouTube channel as well as on our Instagram page. So if you missed anything we talked about, want to refer back to it, you'll be able to access it on here. And we'll have a few more Instagram lives coming up in the next few weeks. And I'm looking forward to it. And thank you so much for joining us.
Of course. Thank you so much for having me. And once again, folks, if you have any questions, feel free to call or email us. But it was lovely talking to all of you today.
You too. Bye.
Bye.
Hey there, my name's Rafael. I'm a fourth-year journalism transfer student with a minor in Spanish, and my pronouns are he, him, his. Thank you for watching the video. Please share any questions or comments you have down below in the comment section. Click here to subscribe, and to watch more videos, click here. If you want to sign up for a campus visit, we're offering in-person and virtual options, so check out our website. Link in the description. Thank you for watching.